Religion promises us immortality, but what about science? The universe is expanding. Dark energy is accelerating this expansion, and it could continue indefinitely. But if gravity proves stronger, then eventually the expansion will reverse. The universe will collapse and the cycle of its existence will repeat. The amount of matter in the universe is limited, so there are a finite number of configurations in which this matter can exist. In the cyclical conditions of the universe, each of these configurations will repeat infinitely, including the one in which we currently find ourselves. For us, this means subjective immortality. When we die, consciousness ceases to exist and does not perceive the passage of time. But as soon as the matter that makes up our brain is once again assembled into the necessary form, consciousness regains its previous properties. Between the event of death and the hypothetical rebirth, trillions of cycles of the universe may pass, but for our perception, this time will pass instantaneously. The development of the universe can follow two scenarios, and one of them implies that we will be reborn infinitely. Did you know that antimatter is simply matter moving backwards in time? Antimatter consists of antiparticles that have opposite properties to their corresponding particles of ordinary matter. For instance, an electron has a negative charge, while a positron has a positive charge. According to quantum field theory, reversing the direction of time is equivalent to changing the sign of certain quantities such as electric charge. Therefore, an electron moving backwards in time would behave exactly like a positron moving forward. In other words, an electron moving backwards in time is a positron. It is believed that objects made of antimatter move in the forward direction of time but relate to it in the opposite way. For instance, a video camera made from antimatter would record the future, not the past. What do you think? Into which technologies can the study of antimatter develop? Will we learn how to travel through time, reverse aging, and foresee the future as clearly as we remember the past? The concept of parallel worlds may sound like science fiction, but what if I told you it's real? Cosmologists studying galactic interaction have come to an unusual conclusion. It turns out that the gravitational force in the universe is almost 6 times greater than the observable matter. They named the source of this excess dark matter. We are made up of matter that is affected by 4 fundamental forces of nature: strong and weak nuclear forces, electromagnetic force, and gravitational force. It is believed that dark matter consists of undiscovered particles that only interact with us through gravity. However, this does not exclude the possibility that they interact with each other much more actively, like the particles that make up our world. Indirect evidence of this has already been recorded. Myriads of these particles exist around us, passing through us just as we pass through them. Dark matter is an unexplored universe with its own laws of physics that exists in parallel with our universe, right here around us. Why is everything that falls into a black hole trapped forever? All particles in our universe are attracted to each other by a force called gravity. The influence of any force on an object is manifested in a change in its speed, known as acceleration. Near the surface of the Earth, acceleration is slightly less than 10 meters per second squared. This means that after 1 second of falling, the speed will be 10 meters per second, after 2 seconds, 20 meters per second, and so on. Moving away from the Earth, the force of its gravity weakens, and the acceleration decreases. A similar situation occurs near black holes, but they are millions of times denser than the Earth, so as objects approach them, the acceleration increases until it reaches 9 quintillion meters per second squared. Here, the event horizon is located. Matter and energy that fall behind the event horizon can never return, otherwise, it would need to exceed the speed of light. A black hole is a cosmic body whose gravity accelerates matter to the speed of light. That is why nothing can escape its boundaries. Have you ever wondered how strong gravity is at the center of a black hole? Gravity is caused by the matter that makes up an object, not its center. Each particle creates attraction, but part of it is balanced out. When we stand on Earth, we are pulled down because the forces pulling us sideways compensate for each other. We have an equal amount of Earth's matter from all sides. However, above us, there is emptiness, and therefore, nothing balances the force directed downwards. As we descend deeper into the Earth, more of its matter is above our heads, and its gravity pulls us up, compensating for the force directed downwards. Once we reach the center of the Earth, there is an equal amount of matter from all sides, and it pulls us in all directions with equal force, causing us to state of weightlessness. The same phenomenon occurs at the center of a black hole. No matter how enormous the mass of a cosmic object, gravitational forces are balanced at its center. Any object that ends up there will be completely weightless. If we were chasing a beam of light, it would always remain just as fast, even if we approached the speed of light. But how is this possible? When an object moves, time slows down for it and its length decreases. It doesn't perceive this itself, but that's precisely why the speed of light appears constant, no matter how fast we move. Speed is the distance traveled per time. If a second lasts longer and space around us compresses in the direction of our motion, then light covers more distance during that time. Therefore, from our perspective, it always moves at a constant maximum speed. The reason for this phenomenon lies in the nature of spacetime itself. According to the theory of relativity, space is a four-dimensional fabric that can deform and distort under the influence of gravity. Light always moves at the same speed because it follows the shortest possible path through this warped spacetime. What awaits us after death? Our mental processes are concentrated in the brain. The brain exists throughout the life of the body and even after its death. However, during our life, our consciousness often shuts down, such as during sleep, trauma, or severe intoxication. This means that we are not just our brain, but something that disappears or changes during moments of unconscious existence of the body. This is the electrochemical activity inside the brain. Consciousness exists only when billions of neurons exchange trillions of electrochemical signals. That is, our consciousness is not matter, but a process. As long as this process is ongoing, we remember, think, and feel. When it stops, or goes differently, we lose these capabilities until we completely lose consciousness. Imagine our brain as a branching network of pipes filled with water. Then our consciousness is the flow. At the moment when the flow stops, the pipes and water exist, but we as a rational entity disappear. Each of us can understand what it is like to disappear. To do this, we just need to remember ourselves before birth.